I fart a lot anyway, but
That's true.
it's true. I'm full of beans.
Do you ever try my hand towel thing so you don't let
What?
Katie know?
Why?
Go fart in a towel?
No, I ain't hiding that shit. Like if I crank a good one, that's funny.
Shit, cat shit, tiger shit, lion
The
shit,
king of
duck
the
shit,
West!
walrus shit, penguin shit, king penguin shit.
Hey, do you guys know Elvis died? Do you know Elvis died, right? You know that, right?
Hold the phone.
Yeah, he died. Welcome to the show.
Then who the hell did I see singing at that Thai restaurant on Hollywood Boulevard?
That was an that was an impressionist. An impersonator? Yeah, okay. Man, yeah, but do you know, because I thought it was like drugs or he had a heart attack or whatever, but yeah, he did have a heart attack. But did you know that it was from the copious amount of shit that he couldn't get to come out of his bumhole? Which means I could have saved Elvis's life.
So could Bobby Brown.
Right. Bobby Brown fingering a poopy out of an ass is not really saving a life. Maybe that got a nug out and I'm happy for Whitney, but did you know that Elvis Presley did not take a shit for like 4 weeks?
Huh.
And he was on the bowl trying to get a shit out and his bumhole was completely caked, sealed with poopies.
Like he had just like a dingleberry seal?
It just, I don't know, because I guess when the drugs that he was taking, it like constipated him to a level that was insane, and he hadn't shit for so long that he was trying to shit and he couldn't get it to come out. And
But they were just like cow patties, like just
that's what I think,
a
yeah.
spackle job sealing his anus of poop.
But he could have put one of those hoses up there that I've got in the shower and fucking, he would have released it and then he wouldn't have died.
Raise your hand if you've experienced caking as a symptom of constipation.
I'm sorry, caking?
That's what Kevin is saying, that the poop could no longer come out because there was a mortar wall of feces that through which freshies could no longer pass.
A month
Come
without,
on.
Dude, a month without taking a shit, what do you reckon your bumhole looks like?
I think it looks
distressed.
And don't forget his diet.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fully caked with like those peanut butter toast things and shit. So
I'm looking at the Wikipedia entry, which, as we all know, is absolute bullshit. It's part of the cover up, but you got to start somewhere. Are you saying drugs were or were not a factor?
Yes, they were a factor.
In what way?
That constipated him.
Right. He was known to take large amounts of codeine, which is such a shit opiate.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Scissor is awesome.
I don't like codeine.
I do.
To each their own.
Yeah.
And they also say that he fell off the toilet.
Yeah.
And there was like some head damage.
Yeah.
All of these things can be true at the same time. You can nearly overdose on codeine in the buildup to which you develop massive constipation, and then you can sit on the toilet and strain so hard to break on through to the other side that you give yourself a heart attack, and then you fall off the toilet from the heart attack, thereby damaging your dome.
Yeah.
If you are backed up with, a month,
copious amounts
worth
of shit,
poop,
yeah.
Can you even fart?
That is a fucking good question. Because seriously, where is the room?
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe he did. Could you imagine how his fart smelled with all that poo? Like the fart had to go through all that poo to get a break on through to the other side.
It's old poop.
Yeah.
You know what's
Like,
worse than poop? Old
what?
Poop. Old poop.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't know there was anything worse than poop.
What's worse than poop?
Yeah, old poop can be better than new poop, really.
How do you figure?
Well, when it dries, it doesn't like get so mushy and sticky to you.
Oh,
Like,
I
I'd
see.
rather someone threw a week old dog shit at me than a fucking fresh one.
You're talking about poop that's been out of the poop womb, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. An aged crap.
Yeah. Wow. We're really learning a lot here. I'm not sure what I just learned.
Oh, yeah?
but
Well,
it's
do you wanna
rocking,
let-
it's rocking me to my core.
Okay, well then you think that was going to make you smarter for the rest of your life? Then listen to this, you guys.
Hold on. I got to call my mom and tell her everything I've learned.
Everybody shut up and listen to this. So here we go. Did you know that the guy that invented washing your hands, they murdered him for it? Let me explain a little more.
Yeah.
There was a guy.
You talk. I'll Google.
There was a doctor. I don't know. Dr. Hygiene or something. I don't know. But so Dr. Clean fucking goes, hey, scientifically, I figured it out because I'm a doctor. When you wash your hands, there's less germs. And like all these weird people that are kind of like some people of today were like, don't even try to like take I will not wash my hands. You know,
My germs have freedom.
but they put him in a mental institution. And then in the mental institution, he was beaten to death. And that's a doctor that invented washing hands because because we didn't, that made us angry.
I can only assume you were talking about 19th century Hungarian doctor Ignaz Semmelweis.
Ignaz.
Yep.
Huge fan.
He discovered the wonders of this now basic hygienic practice during an experiment in a Vienna hospital's maternity ward. That's a great place to figure out that you should wash your fucking hands.
Nice.
It's amazing. Infant mortality used to be so bad. It's amazing it wasn't far, far worse.
Yeah.
It's amazing humankind survived into the modern era, considering how barbaric we were in regards to basic hygiene and delivering babies.
Do you think sometimes ladies just walked around with half a baby hanging out of their vagina in the caveman days?
No time, got to work.
Because they just didn't figure out how to pull it out or anything?
Probably.
Right?
I would guess so.
I'm trying to figure out what actually ultimately happened to this man. I've heard your theory.
Oh, here we go.
No,
You
I don't know
gonna debunk me?
I don't know the answer yet. I would rather confirm. It's weird to me that I've gotten this far into the article and all they have said so far is that, okay, here we go. In 1865, after suffering a mental breakdown, and he was ridiculed for his insistence that everyone ought to wash their hands, that may have played a role in his mental breakdown. He was admitted to an asylum. He died of sepsis.
Yeah, from the wounds of a beatdown.
That's right. They murdered him into a mean case of sepsis, specifically a wound to his hand became infected. The irony.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No, if you would just let me shut up, crazy man. No, just a little bit of soap.
Right? And then they bashed him and probably didn't let him wash his hands.
I'm sure they didn't let him. If he had a wound on his hand that became infected and he died from it, it's fair to say a solid scrubbing could have made the difference.
Yeah. But there you go. Lesson learned. If you come up with a good idea, keep it to yourself.
Pretty much. Or pin it on somebody else.
You're gonna make someone angry. It's the herd. When the herd gets angry, you gotta watch out. So just gonna weigh this for a little bit.
Sling that Ellis Mania belt over your shoulder.
I just feel like every now and then I gotta put the belt on because I am the champion. Of Ellis Mania. I am for sure the champion. I'm the greatest fighter that Ellis Mania's ever seen. Sure, maybe I lost to Carl Kingsbury twice, but that doesn't really count because Carl Kingsbury's a real fighter. And we're talking about what the fuck are you doing here, fighters? And that's me. What the fuck are you doing here, fighters? And Lewis, I know you're a huge fan of the show. I'm pretty sure he doesn't listen. Do you know that he did fantasy about raping me?
What?
Yeah, fans sent it to me. They did a thing where they play different characters. There was like 4 of them, and they were doing different characters, and one of the characters was me.
Mhm.
And I come in and oh man, when are we gonna fight or some shit? And then somebody hits me over the head with a
Crikey,
tape.
I'll punch you. I'm
Yeah.
gay.
Guy did that, yeah. So they did that, and then they hit me over the head with a chair, and then Lewis butt fucked me and like whispered shit in my ear, and that was
and you weren't into it.
No.
Oh.
No, I was like, I thought we were gonna fight, and Lewis was like, this is what you get, or I don't know, I texted him about it. I was like, did you fan fiction rape me on your show? And he's just like, lol. I'm like, okay. It's a different angle for those guys. Like I kind of get it now. Like it's you would make a 9/11 joke, or you would make a women rights joke. Like, yeah, maybe they should get more shut up, or like a thing where you're like, wow, but that's the whole joke. And if you don't get the sarcasm of it, it's kind of like when we first started, I felt like there were people that every now and then would tweet me and say, how could you say that? And clearly you and I were being sarcastic.
Right.
And I was like, wow, some people really don't get sarcasm.
Yeah, the joke is that it's not funny to joke about that.
Yeah, and I at the time, I don't remember what we were talking about, but I never thought that we kind of did, like, let's be racist and be sarcastic or...
No, absolutely. I was just talking about this on another show the other day, to the point that once every month or two, some guy would get the wrong idea and would take it seriously. And because, okay, I'll give you an example. I used to do a segment called Women, Am I Right? It's just news stories about how dumb women are. And obviously these were examples of women doing stupid things, but the joke was that I was pretending this was representative of the way women carry themselves. And every now and again, a guy would call in and be like, fuck it. I mean, like you guys say, women are fucking stupid. Am I right, bro?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my God, don't call and stop listening.
Yeah.
Because you're a dangerous person if you're not understanding it's a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So I
They're
feel
out
like
there.
Lewis does that to people with his humor, and even, quite frankly, even me. At the start when I followed him, I unfollowed him because I was like, what? That's fucking sick. That ain't funny. Fuck that guy. And then now that I follow him again, because for a year and a half since we're gonna fight, I've noticed that that's his comedy. Like something really personal that you would never talk about, he tweets it and is like, what are you going to fucking do? But everybody that listens to him, skanks, they know he's joking. I know we think, yeah, look, if you just joke about that all the time, you're still hurting people's feelings. But I do see their angle more, and I find them to be far less offensive now, because I also feel like you're a boy. You guys are all, you want to say shit that you're not supposed to say and make people feel uncomfortable. That's the thing that you like to do. And yeah, maybe people should have thicker skin.
Yep.
I don't see those guys as a threat at all. I just feel like you got your snowflakes that just, pound everybody for doing anything. And I think it's good to have skanks around and that say, in my opinion, really stupid shit. But I'm like, get over it. Like, we fake raped you, Jason, and I'm like, yeah, I don't find that offensive. I get you guys. You guys would do a rape skit because they know that that's like offensive. Some people that have been raped are like, that's not cool, and they're like, mission accomplished.
Yeah,
we're trying to piss you off, and if you don't get that, it's because you're stupid. I see their angle, and when I see their angle, I find it way less offensive. And I feel like, these days there's so many weird, everybody's so triggered and so offended. And there's people that have figured it out and then try to trigger and offend people. These guys are a good thing, because every now and then, yeah, say something stupid. You know what? Every now and then you're going to say something stupid in front of the wrong person. You're going to pay for it. They don't get your sarcasm. Those come. Yeah. Everybody gets it. Yeah.
Well, and there's two kinds of people who are triggered by things. There's people who are triggered on behalf of people that they've never met, and those tend to be the snowflakes that are fairly unbearable. But then there's the people who are triggered because it reminds them of something that happened to them, and they're like, whoa, I was just trying to hang out and enjoy something, and I didn't need to be reminded of the time that I got raped by a boxing promoter.
Right.
But most of those people probably stopped listening to that podcast a while ago.
You think you could beat a stingray?
I touch stingrays routinely, so I know my enemy.
I think I could beat a stingray in thumb wrestling, but not a swim race.
Yeah. Do you think you could kill a stingray with your bare hands before it killed you?
Oh, if it was out to kill me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I would have to resort to disgusting measures.
What are you going to do?
Like ripping at eye sockets and stuff.
Do you know where their eyes are?
Yeah.
Nope, but I'm just going to tear at stuff until I
I was
find
going
it.
to say, where are their eyes? They're pretty good at hiding those.
Yeah,
Are they
I think they're
underneath?
like on their ass or something.
I think everything's on the
What
bottom.
the fuck would it be on the eyes?
Oh no, the eyes might be like right on the
I think they're on the top.
right on the side of the pancake.
But they're super camouflaged. Beady eyed motherfuckers. Like
Here's
Canadians.
the thing. Here's the thing that you're going to want to know if you're going to tangle to the death with a stingray. The stinger is actually not on the end of the tail; it's at the base of the tail.
Yeah, I know. It's where
so
the pussy is.
it's not as if they're going to whip the thing around.
I think getting a hold of the tail could be a good move, but you really got to fucking kill it quick because they wiggle tremendously. I don't.
Oh,
Think,
they don't want to die.
I don't. Well said, Michael. I don't think when they realize that you're trying to death murder kill them, they will put up a fight and wiggle the fuck out. And let's say that it was a stingray that was like, no, I'm killing Kevin. Then he would wiggle out and then come back and strike and bounce off you and come back and strike. So you'd have to time it. When he comes in to strike, you got to grab onto him. And then, honestly, with your bare hands, how do you make do you tear him in half? How the fuck? What am I, Conan?
Like a phone book?
I'm just saying, what bit do you get that kills it?
Right. So are we tangling in
Water.
Yes, naturally. It would be unfair to the stingray otherwise. Are we tangling in 6 feet of water or 2 feet of water?
Make it even, 2 feet.
Okay. All right. So now we're back in my dojo, which is the stingray petting tank at the Long Beach Aquarium where I spend most of my days.
It can't be 2 feet because he has to be able to strike the body. So it's at least chin high.
That's going to be real different. Now I think I like the stingray's chances.
Slow death, though, right?
If I can move, you just can't.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Does he only have one sting?
I'm not sure about that.
He
Is
doesn't
it like
have,
a bee where he stings you and his ass falls off?
I think that the thing that he shoots out, he only has one, right?
Oh, really? I still
don't
think
know.
that he's going to immobilize you. He's going to do enough damage that he can claim victory and swim away from you.
Right.
So that's the fight. Because if the stingray can't kill you, then this is stupid because it could just go on all day. And as soon as you recover from the blow that he's successfully delivered to you, then you go over and kill him. Mm-hmm. See, in like 18 inches of water, which is what I'm used to, I feel like you just get him from the top and you smush him against the ground. And while you're holding him there, then you just kind of ground and pound.
Yeah. I wonder how much ground and pound it takes to kill a stingray.
There's got to be a brain in there somewhere. But if it's
a lot of shots, but through the waters, it slows it down a lot.
But if we're up to our chin, well, now he has a variety of angles at which to come for me, and I've lost all of the speed on my downward. And at that point, I believe Stingray's got me.
Hey everybody, Jason Ellis here, talking about Liquid Death, proud sponsor of the Jason Ellis Show, and of course my whole stupid face, Jason Ellis. People that don't know and think that I'm drinking a beer down the freeway, it's water. The black can's got sparkling water, and the white can is just good old-fashioned water. And when you finish drinking, the can goes in the recycling trash can, and that's one less floating plastic island in the sea.
A lot of people are under the impression that if you're feeling a little thirsty, you should just take a tiny little sip of water, and that's going to make it better. It's not going to work. You need to brutally, violently murder the hell out of your thirst.
There you go.
And there's only one brand on the market that's going to do that. What do you think it is? It's Liquid Death.
Everybody's doing it.
That's right. Everybody is doing it. And if you want to do it, you can get free shipping. Just the water. Don't pay for the shipping on water and merch at, this is such an easy URL to remember, liquiddeath.com/Ellis. That is liquiddeath.com/Ellis to get free shipping on all water and merch, or just grab some at Whole Foods and 7-Eleven. Make sure you tell them the Ellis Show sent you. The guys at Whole Foods love to hear that.
It's fun. It's a fun drink. It's like a fun way to drink water. Everybody likes it better. For some weird reason, it's like a little bit more exciting. Speaking of exciting, they have a movie. Yeah, I know. Water that has a movie. But I watched it the other day, and I had no idea how terrifying Liquid Death cans are. If I had saw this movie before drinking one, I would never turn my back on a can. I wonder if they're chokeable.
I really don't think so. You need a neck to be able to choke.
No, I think what you need to do, unfortunately, if you're fighting a stingray and it's to the death and it's you or him, is you grip anywhere you can grip, which is going to be like eye sockets, mouth, gills, and I'm just gripping and ripping.
Do stingrays have gills?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
okay.
Right. I think so. I should know. I literally was touching them ad nauseum 5 days ago.
Tough fight though.
Yeah, everything's on the bottom.
How big is this thing?
Like a fat one.
Oh wow, that changes things too.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
One time, well, not one time. There was this place called the Cerberus. It's a ship that shipwrecked in Australia off the coast of where I live in Sandringham, and we used to swim out to the Cerberus and then climb up onto the top chimney thing and then jump down into the hole. And there was this stingray that was famous. Everybody knew him or her. I don't know what sex it was.
Oh, they stingy.
Yeah, but it's a fucking big motherfucker, and he never hurt anybody. I don't think stingrays hurt people, to be honest.
It was a freak accident with Crocodile Hunter.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, wow. He must have been really poking it.
One time I was at a beach in Encinitas, and I was with an action sports athlete, and they warned me that I needed to shuffle my feet when I walked out in the sand because a lot of people have been getting stung by stingrays, and I thought that this person was fucking with me to see if I would walk around shuffling my feet all day. But no, there had been like a dozen people who had been stingrayed that weekend. And I gather all that happened is then they had to go and sit out of the beach and go, ow, fuck.
There's no thing stuck in them?
I don't know about that.
Because how is there a thing stuck in the crocodile hunt?
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't understand that either.
Right? Like, when did we ever see... Because I got attacked by a stingray once when I shot one with a spear gun when I was a kid, and he swam off, and then when the string pulled, he bounced back and came at me, and he hit me like 2 or 3 times before my other friend shot him, and then we both swam away from each other to tighten the rope to get this fucking maniac. He got 2 spikes in him, he was still trying to go. It was kind of sad because we got him to shore and hit a bunch of like little bitty babies fell out. It's pretty lame.
Aww.
And like see-through stingrays like this big.
Yeah.
We released all the see-through baby stingrays, but
Yum. Somebody had lunch.
that's what I know.
Right.
They didn't look like they were gonna.
Yeah.
But yeah, that ruined that.
But
he was coming right for me.
I understand. I think stingrays are very plentiful. If it makes you feel any better.
No, I really don't want to.
It's like killing a pregnant deer.
I don't want to. I don't want to kill a pregnant deer. Oh man,
We have to. We literally have to thin the population, Jason. You understand? Otherwise, they encroach and they steal our houses.
No, the traffic would be out of control. Deer everywhere. Like, how are we getting to work?
Children going to school with antlers hanging out of them.
I mean,
no other choice.
Yeah, thousands of kids die every year from deer hits. When a deer knocks them off and ruins the day. Yeah.
You want to talk about sea creatures or land creatures?
I like sea creatures because they're so mysterious.
Well, then let's talk about the 101-year-old Maine woman who still works on a lobster boat.
That's incredible.
Yep.
What's her pussy look like, you think?
A vagina.
Shut up, Katie. Look, I'm doing a show, Katie, and sometimes I've got to know. Because you know what? What happens if you and I live to 100? What's your pussy look like? I want to know. Am I just digging an even worse hole? I am. I don't know. I'm doing it again. I'm really bad on here. You should have heard me the other. I've ruined my solo Patreon shows. I did a week of just offending Katie or accidentally taking too many mushrooms and not understanding what I'm doing on the show anymore.
Didn't you go on a spirit quest last weekend?
You mean just camping in the bush?
Yeah, with mushrooms
across the freeway. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what did it. I did, yes. So I went.
Did you find your spirit squirrel out there?
I found that I really like tripping out on mushrooms. Does that count? But I had a tent, and man, the place that I went to, it's got cool waves and all that stuff, but the camping site is off the freeway.
Yeah.
So you can hear the cars, and then there's like you park your car, and then there's a picnic table that you get, and a fire pit, and then there's really like 20 feet of gravel to put your tent in. And I'm like, gravel? And then
That's a bummer.
Yeah, so it's kind of like they don't put you further. I'd like to camp further in.
Yeah.
It's further out right near the freeway.
Right.
And it's not very bush vibe. There's not a lot of bush vibes.
Hard to get back to nature when you can still smell exhaust.
Right. And so, but I there were like other campers around too. And everyone was a amateur camper, bad etiquette. They had a bunch of extra shit. But yeah, I decided to eat some shrooms instead of dinner, which probably made it better because I was going to cook dinner and I was like, it's dark. I can't be fucked. I don't know how to make that. I hadn't used my camping grill yet. So I just ate a bunch of that and sat by the fire. And it was very, very like stars. And I was watching TV, but it was just the stars and the clouds, everything moving around. And I was like, wow, I'm really having a good time by myself in the middle of nowhere. And then I had a bunch of candy in my tent. So at one point I was in my tent, just fucking laughing my ass off, eating candy. And I was like, man, I think I like mushrooms. Didn't think that I would. I thought past that, like it would make me panic, but it didn't at all. So then I decided to do it here on the show. I was like, that'll be cool. So it was hard to do. I was like, I really don't want to tell anybody anything anymore. I want to, because your brain starts thinking and seeing stuff. All the walls had like faces, all smiling and stuff. And I was like, I just want to watch the faces. I don't want to talk anymore.
Yeah, you're kind of on the clock when you're doing a podcast.
Yeah, and it was one of those decisions that was like a quick one. And then I was like, fuck, you idiot. But I do that a lot where I go, fuck, you idiot. So I seem to bounce back pretty good.
Yeah, because I mean, doing a podcast, especially like, a semi-solo one, that's a lot of dead air to fill. And I feel like a lot of times when you're on mushrooms, sometimes you feel like being chatty, but sometimes you want to just, like you said, take it in. There were fucking happy faces all over the place. Like, I could be talking right now, but I really want to take in these happy faces. This is kind of chill.
When I looked at the Patreon members' opinions, everyone liked it. Like, I ain't doing it again, but everybody found it to be very entertaining. I don't even remember what I did. I remember every now and then I would see stuff and just be like, whoa. And then I go, fuck. I'm on the radio. I mean, I'm on Patreon. Fucking radio.
Neat thing about mushrooms, I feel like, is it like acid always feels like an illusion. When shit goes away, you're like, oh, that's so weird. That's just like my wall. And last night it kind of looked like there was crazy shit in it. I was tripping balls. Mushrooms, I always felt a little bit more like I was like, oh, I kind of realized that there are actually secretly faces inside my wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much more I would want to take, but I just like, it feels like I'm solving puzzles in my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, wow, I never looked at it like that. And those are valuable. And it's not like alcohol. You remember that. Like, I remember, like, oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
And so it reminds me of ayahuasca light.
Right.
Because ayahuasca is that. As soon as the medicine kicks in, takes a while for you to figure it out. But it's medicine and it just makes you fix yourself. Like, you're like, what about this? The way I handled that. And I'm like, you could do things differently. It just seems like it's just trying to give me advice to live a happier life. And I feel like mushrooms kind of does the same thing where it gives you a little bit better of an outlook, or maybe little things like the stars and stuff, how you can appreciate them so much more than you would have any other day. It's hard to piss on that, if I can spend an hour just going, wow, I mean, look at the world, man. I get all pumped on the world, as opposed to, I want to go to sleep so that I can surf. I also fucking caught waves, proper waves. First time, easily the best waves I've ever caught in my life. So in the morning, I go down there and I try to catch some waves, and I caught some white water because I didn't know which spot to go in. And of course, the good guys are on the bigger wave, and I didn't want to go over there because they just snake you, or you're I don't know. It's confusing. But then a friend, my new surf friend, he met me down there and then was like, come out over this spot here. He's like, you want to take off around here? This is a good spot. And then boom, riding for like a long time along the wave. And it's funny how I immediately was like, yeah, this is what if you put in more work and you get it, then it's all worth all the shit beforehand where you can't get on anything and everyone's just like, what is this idiot? It pays off.
Yeah.
I finally saw I felt like I was like, okay, this I can do. This is what I was trying to get to, where I can get on a wave and go wee. So I got the right board for it. I just got to learn to paddle better. That's like one of the things that I can tell some people just, it's a technique that I don't have. And everybody that doesn't have it does the same thing as me. It's like amateur paddling. You can tell when you look out there. I'm like, that guy's been surfing for as much as me. You kind of end up doing a weird, like you're an injured turtle. Like when you get tired, you can't, good guys lift their arms out of the water and paddle. When you're not a good guy, your arms get, this part of your arm gets tired.
Yeah.
So you do like some weird,
More of a patty cake.
you know, sometimes I'll try to pull my arm out and it doesn't come out and I'll just like, I didn't paddle because this is so burnt.
Yeah.
I'll get to the point where I start doing breaststroke and kicking with my feet because I can't doing that one more time. I can't do it right now.
I mean, after a night of doing mushrooms and sleeping on, a gravel tent.
Oh, I had a really good mattress.
Okay.
I went to Jeff Bezos and got a camping mattress, like an inflatable one that also has padding in it.
Famous outdoorsman Jeff Bezos.
Yes, he knows a lot about camping. That mattress was because I used to camp when I was a kid. Fuck, I wish I had that mattress. I didn't notice at all. I had a sleeping bag in that mattress, and I felt like I slept fine.
And you felt up. You woke up feeling perfectly fine.
Maybe fresher than normal.
Huh?
Why?
No, just curious. I mean, I did mushrooms this weekend too.
Yeah,
and
you did other stuff too, though.
I did. Yeah, I have. My brain sometimes turns against me.
Yes.
And I've noticed with hallucinogens, the first couple times I did acid or mushrooms were fucking great. I got cool visuals. It was a really happy trip. I was laughing the whole time. And then one time I just had a bad experience, a bad trip, and it was just very anxiety ridden and uncomfortable. Yeah. And it sort of felt like my skin was crawling and I just did not like it at all. And that must have just gotten in my head, and every trip after that just fell the same way.
I could be wrong, but I feel like if you're going to do mushrooms, you need to be outside. I feel like if you take mushrooms and stay inside, it's going to be a different trip.
Well, so in an effort to combat my own anxiety, I did a little bit of ecstasy first. Yeah. And then once I started feeling that kick in a little bit, then I ate some mushrooms.
Yeah. I would have thought that the ecstasy would take out the mushrooms and you wouldn't feel the mushrooms.
I felt them.
Not your experience? Cool.
No. But I woke up the next day and felt perfectly fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Molly does something to your serotonin, so you might not be as positive the next day because it kind of trains it a little bit. Yes.
And I've 100% been there before, especially like in the early 2000s when ecstasy was pretty dirty.
Yeah.
Like you never knew what you were getting. There could be fucking like really nasty speed inside there or even like a little bit of heroin. And sometimes you would roll so hard, your fucking vision, your eyes are twitching and stuff. And then you wake up the next day just completely depleted of all serotonin.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
No, I felt fine after this.
I did a MDMA therapy with a doctor and he gave me a bunch of supplements on the day that I took it. And that made a huge difference the next day. Basic supplements too.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel any less of anything. I felt pretty refreshed, and I was kind of worried about doing it. But I also, as a doctor's MDMA, it was proper MDMA,
medical grade.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I had a dream last night that my wife and I took ecstasy, and then she woke up super early in real life and went downstairs, and I don't know why, maybe she was angry, she was awake, started putting away dishes much louder than you need to, and it kept waking me up. But when you have a dream that you go back to, so I kept on alternating between being happy doing ecstasy with my wife in a dream and being angry at her in real life for continually waking me up.
That sounds so painful.
It wasn't my favorite morning. That was before the children started coming in.
He didn't even do any drugs to get that one.
I got fucking Flonase. That was the hardest thing I was on this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah. Scientists have successfully achieved a dream man has long sought: potty training cows
Wait, they make cows go to the bathroom?
wherever they want, whenever they want.
Wait a minute. If they go to the bathroom wherever they want, whenever they want, isn't that still just a cow shitting?
The difference is they're able to. So if you subscribe to the theory that climate change is preventable and bad, cow excretions are a major contributor to air pollution.
Yeah.
So if they can dictate where the cows pee and poop, they can catch it and dispose of it rather than it just being in a field. And the ammonia is specifically what's bad about it. Yeah. Methane's another thing, but I guess it's the pee and the ammonia is another major thing.
Yeah.
Airborne ammonia is bad for the planet, and a lot, like more than 50% of the planet's ammonia fumes are coming from cow pee. And it turns out to be fairly simple if you've got the time. You just put like a treat. I think they were putting honey on whatever oats and shit they eat, and they just put it in a trough, and they had the pee collector right next to that. So they would just go over and eat that shit, and before long they realized they were only allowed to eat it after they peed. And they said cows are like comparable to like a 2 to 3 year old human being in terms, which is pretty much when you potty train people.
I'm not eating cows anymore.
No?
There's a lot to be said for it.
I've been plant-based for how long now, Katie?
Like a week.
That's it?
Yeah.
How is that affecting your butt?
Okay.
I think it looks great.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like my poopies?
Yes.
Yeah, easier. They come out of my anus easier.
Does it make you fart a lot?
Does that understand? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
I was trying to just get that out. When I shit, is less strength. It just like comes out. But I feel like at first, yes, some more farts, but not anymore. I fart a lot anyway. But
It's true.
it's true. Full of beans.
Do you ever try my hand towel thing so you don't let Katie know?
Why?
Go fart in a towel?
No, I ain't hiding that shit. Like if I crank a good one, that's funny. You know, if it's a really loud one, you can't do. If I do like 6 farts in front of Katie in one day, that's gonna bum her out.
Yeah.
But one fart every now and then, where maybe she's in the other room and I don't know that it's gonna be a cranker and it's a fucking earth shatterer, and then I hear her in the other room go, "Really?" I think that's pretty funny.
She's acting angry, but she loves it. She loves it. She loves it. They all
Women all love farts. No, you're so right, Michael. Everyone listening, trust me, all your wives love a good fart.
Listen, ladies, we're on to you.
Yeah. Look, all right. I'll fart in front of you. I got it. I'll marry you and I'll fart on you. Don't worry.
Katie, does Jason have a 1 fart a day pass?
Honestly, they are kind of funny because they're so loud. But if he keeps doing it, then I just feel like he's being lazy and inconsiderate. Because, go at least fart in the bathroom, you know?
Yeah. If I was, like I said, if I go past 5 farts, so it's like if you're gonna fart 5 times in a small period, you need to go outside or you need to take a shit because something's up. But I get unconscious farts. I get away with unconscious farts.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I blast a lot of those because I refuse to fart in front of my girlfriend.
But have you slept in the same bed with her?
Yes. So I know for sure. And she,
what are the odds she woke up in the fart?
Well, I fall asleep first. I always fall asleep first.
Yeah.
So, and I probably hold in so many farts when she's around that right when my body passes out, my ass is probably like, yes, here we go.
All right.
But like, she lives in a 1-bedroom. I live in a 1-bedroom. There's really not much distance we can get away from each other throughout the course of a day. So like if she's at my place taking a shower, I know I have, a closed door as a barrier, the sound of the shower as a barrier. Yeah. So I can like go to the other end of my apartment and like maybe fart in my trash can or something. And
see, here's the difference. Fart in your trash can. Why don't you fucking live in there, you idiot? Just fart, man. It's so crazy. The gnarliest one for me is, I hope you don't mind, Katie, but we went to Mammoth.
It wasn't Mammoth. It was Big Bear.
Okay, we went to Big Bear.
The fart was Mammoth.
So we're drinking and out on the balcony at night. It's cold up there, and she squatted to take a pee. I think it was on the balcony, and I had just sort of like walked back out to the balcony and she farted while she was peeing. And because it was so cold, she did like a fart smog.
You actually saw the thought
I
bubble?
actually saw the fart come out of her anus. And I was like, because she doesn't fart or poo according to life. Like, that's how we play it. And I'm like, oh, you fucking shit for sure. Because that was almost a poop. That was like that's right before shit comes out. And it was just the best angle. She didn't know it was going to happen. I was like, wow. Those are the things that make life grand as far as I'm concerned.
I just don't understand. So, like, right, we used to live in a world, and we still kind of do, where we pretend girls don't poop or we don't talk about it, and we understand that guys do. And we're supposed to be discreet about it, about your farting and shit like that. So why do if we now live in a world where we understand women poop just as much as guys do, their bodies work exactly the same as ours in regard to that function, why do we still assume that when a couple sleeps together, it's the guy we need to worry about farting, not the chick?
Yeah, she's farting too.
Why can't your chick just be farting all night?
She is.
She's holding hers around you too, bro.
Yep.
Have you thought about that?
We all have anuses.
I always just assume that guys are grosser and men on average fart more than women.
Right. Why do you assume that? Let's find out.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe
it just makes sense in my head. Doesn't it make sense in yours?
I think it would make sense it wouldn't matter if it was a guy or a girl. I feel like if it's a human being that has a bad diet, they're going to fart more.
The average person produces about half a liter of farts every day.
Person.
Yes, that's right. People pass gas on average 14 times per day. Obviously, some people, vary. Women fart just as much as men do.
Boom.
That's exactly that. You proved my point. We're still living in this antiquated world where we created this fanciful magic castle that women's assholes live in, where they don't actually shit, even though we all knew it wasn't true. And even though we've given up on that, I saw an ad the other day that was playing up like women don't talk about shitting. Oh yeah, well I do. Watch me shit.
Yeah.
It was an ad for some probiotic or whatever. Where
Equal rights. Right. Women have poopies coming out of their butthole all the time. They fart logs out.
So your girlfriend is living the exact same struggle that you are. She's constantly sitting there with a gas bubble that she doesn't want to release in front of you. When she's in the shower and you're farting in your garbage can, she's farting in the shower.
Do you think girls look at their poopy after they do it?
Everybody
like
does.
we do?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you have to make sure there's no like blood or monsters in it.
Monsters?
You got to make sure everything's okay. Sometimes your turds can be, a sign of things to come.
That's not why people check. People check because they want to look at their poop. I don't know why.
Well, it's still you for a few more seconds.
People don't check because they go, no, believe me, I'm not interested in seeing this in the slightest, but I have to know if there's any blood in my feces. Sure, there's never been before, but today could be the day, and I must know post haste. It's not, people just look because they want to look at their poop.
If you ever pissed outside and not looked at your dick?
Yeah, because I'm looking at where I'm peeing usually.
If you're looking at where you're peeing, how are you not looking at your piss?
You mean my dick. Right, but I'm not focused on it. I'm focused on the direction.
I'm saying one glance. Just like when you look at your shit.
I don't know if I've ever peed standing up and not looked down.
All right. So, because that's what I'm saying. If you have to do it in a toilet bowl, then obviously you have to look down so you're going to see your dick.
Right.
But if you're in the woods, you could just piss.
You could, right.
And look around. But you never do because you just need to check your dick.
Oh, yeah. I know I've taken a couple of strolling outdoor pees just because I could.
Right. I've peed in the shower and not looked at my penis.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a great one. To not have to hold on while you pee it's such a great feeling.
All right, that's what I'm saying. Right. And peeing in the woods, if you've got pants on, well, then you're shit out of luck. But if you don't have pants on and you just fucking pissing in the woods, you don't have to answer to anyone.
No, except you do have to worry about pissing on your feet.
Yeah, really. If you're Donald Ducking in the great outdoors, wouldn't you worry about the splashback?
Well, you got to piss on yourself a little bit.
I see.
That's like you're in the woods. You're in the wilderness. You're naked in the woods and you're urinating. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever gone quite that natural, but it is one of the great things about being in the ocean as well.
Do you see Madonna's anus?
No, I heard that she unveiled it, her 65-year-old anus.
It's a good ass. I mean, it's plastic surgery, but it was tremendous.
She's had work done?
No, dude,
on her anus?
Impossible to have that ass. I thought it might have been a plastic suit. It was that perfect.
So you think that she had implants?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant that she'd had like a lift.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it was the most plastic surgery anus I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And her face now tells me that, yeah, she's had a bunch of shit done to her ass as well. Because her face doesn't look like her at all. It's twice the size of any other face.
Yeah. Look, it's just, I'm not, this isn't my own theory, so don't get mad at me for repeating it. People will often say, I feel like about Russian women and Italian women tend to be above average gorgeous when they're very young and then turn into witches at a certain point. Right. And I can remember hearing women, because I wasn't like scrutinizing Madonna's face in 1992. I can remember hearing women look at photos of her and going, oh, look, now she's turning into an old Italian lady.
Yeah, well, so not her anus.
No, so she's fighting that fight. I think it's cool. I think her mission is to try to remain Madonna for as long as she possibly can. And I think that ought to be Madonna's mission.
What about Cher?
Cher, same thing.
Right. I was just Googling
Dolly Parton.
Yeah, I would bone all of them.
I did see Madonna's butt.
Yeah.
You know, thumbs up. Well done, Madonna.
Yeah.
But there's also a picture of Cyndi Lauper from the VMAs.
She didn't have her
good.
anus out.
No anus, but face looks good.
Yeah, it's not that it looked good. It's because they put the lighting on old people at that awards where they blew their face out so you can't see. So she actually, I'm sorry, but she's tremendously old and not that hot.
I like Cyndi Lauper.
Didn't say I didn't like her. Just saying, you know, Madonna's anus, and then you bring up Cyndi Lauper. I don't know about that. Because that anus was, any girl turn around, walk around with that, I'd go, holy shit.
Yeah.
It was really stuck on, it felt, because her face, you know, even with the lighting, I was like, man, you're so puffy. Your head's so full of whatever you've put in there to make it stretch out. And then when she turned around and walked off, it was the anus of a 25-year-old chick that has only squats every day. It was a really gnarly ass. Right, Katie?
It was insane. I gasped when she turned around and revealed it.
Big, powerful, plump.
Mm-hmm.
No cellulite at all.
It's funny, though. I'm not criticizing her. She's fucking 60 years old. She's not supposed to look 20, but I can't help but look at her and see like old movie stars that were, you know, like Greta Garbo and shit like that, that I only knew as older ladies,
right? Which
is what she is. I think it's amazing.
Who do you think is hotter, Madonna or Evander Holyfield?
Evander Holyfield, his face gets him in trouble because you look at his face and you go, yeah, real deal can still fight.
Yeah.
And his body isn't, but his face looks like a man who can take a high level boxing match, and his body is not. He does not have that body anymore. Evander Holyfield looks amazing for a guy who's, I think,
that's what I'm saying,
had his brain squashed.
Who hasn't had any plastic surgery. He looks great.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. He's just a different kind of handsome than he was when he was younger.
I bet you he still has a nice anus as well.
I bet he takes good care of his anus.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the whole. I'm just saying his cheeks.
Yeah.
Probably has like bubble butt.
Probably.
It's pretty good for a 60-year-old to have a bubble butt.
There's just those guys who I don't know what kind of training he puts in nowadays. And if you're not taking crazy, you know, some level of drugs, you're just not going to have anywhere close to the definition that you had when you were younger. But you get the body that you deserve. And Evander Holyfield could have stopped going to the gym entirely when he was 50, and his body was going to retain some sort of, you know, shape.
He is one of the greatest specimens of all time.
Unbelievable.
Like how fit he was, how many fights he took, and how many times he got hit. Then to the fight now, I get it. We could never stop.
It's a crazy, crazy world that we live in, where in one weekend a 58-year-old man had a boxing match that, even though he lost badly, I don't think anyone is saying that the promoter should be arrested for letting him get in there. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he was going to fight.
Everybody's pretty angry about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There are people you had a 60-year-old Madonna waving her anus at the VMAs the same weekend that Evander Holyfield had a boxing match. That's a crazy, crazy world that I keep repeating it, but there's this book I think called Second Life about how the average lifespan in the first world has essentially doubled in the last 100 years or so.
Yeah.
And you're just seeing what people are, that you're not just living longer, you're living better longer.
Yeah. Yeah, and pretty soon everyone's going to have luscious locks and huge erections.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to be super jacked. This guy hit me up on some gay app, and I showed Katie because he
Facebook?
Yes, the gay app Facebook, where all the gays come to receive anal. So this guy, hey, how's it going? And I looked at these photos, and he had crazy amounts of plastic surgery, big fat lips, kind of muscly, but weirdly a bit soft. And wearing all the different get-ups, like his photos were so over the top. But I showed Katie. I feel like this guy has all the plastic surgery to be a fit guy without being fit.
They're out there too.
It really seemed like that's not his arms. That's not his shoulders.
Just all fat sculpting.
That's not his. Yeah, it really looked like that, and he seems so rich because every photo he has. At one point, he's like, "Here's my skater boy look," where he had a longboard and like some side satchel bag, but it was a fucking Gucci.
Of course.
The dudes. I was like, man, I want to hang, because remember I got a haircut. This is a long time ago. I had hair in Sydney, and the guy who cut my hair said, "How do you feel about implants?" And I was like, "Implants for what?" And he's like, for guys like pecs and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh. Yeah, I think that's weird. Like, just go to the gym and get it. It's kind of weird, lazy or whatever. And a few minutes later, a guy comes in that's a friend of the hairdresser's, and he says, "How's your calves? How are they healing?" And then I realized that he'd had calf implants.
Don't ask that question if you don't want the answer,
right.
You know?
And I was like, oh no. He asked me how I feel about implants because he's got implants.
Yeah.
And that was when I had hair. So imagine what they do now.
Yeah.
I feel like we see women and we go, "You've had surgery."
Right.
But when you see a guy, you think that guy looks gay. You don't, if he has like voluptuous lips and like big bushy eyebrows or like, you don't like calves and pecs.
Yeah.
I always assume that you go to the gym a lot.
Yeah.
But I think a lot more guys than we think are walking around with fat fake deltoids and shit. I don't even know what a deltoid is.
I think that's your shoulder.
Right. Then yes.
Could you take, a flabby wuss like myself and give me every single implant available?
Yeah.
And have me just look like jacked, beyond jacked?
Yes. For sure, yes. Fat sculpting on your fat gut, titty implants, and delts.
Give me, implants, titty implants that will look like pecs and not actual boobs.
Yeah.
And then cut my stomach open and put like a sheet in that's shaped like abs.
They sculpt it.
Yeah.
It's called.
You used to work at a McDonald's. Remember the McRib?
Uh-huh.
You know how the McRib is just like a big piece of
Not a rib.
pork fat?
Yeah, but it's shaped into the look of rib and actual bone, but
That's
it's a
how they
bone
do it.
made of
That's what
meat.
they're going to do to you.
Yep.
I will be a McRib.
Yeah, you could do it for the
You'll be McRipped.
For like 80 grand, I reckon you could look like a full jack guy.
But and give me like big biceps
Yep, they do
and like
it all.
forearm muscles and like spray paint some veins on there.
I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe don't be so veiny.
You want to get some fake back knee so it looks like you took the steroids, because otherwise, how did you get those strokes? Get those muscles.
Get someone to tattoo back acne on your back.
That's cool. I just think a lot of people who get that stuff, it's like raging insecurity that drives them to get that.
Yeah.
I don't think people who get that stuff, they're trying to fix something on the outside that's really a problem on the inside. I can imagine a scenario where somebody, like there's a guy I live near who's in like pretty good shape. She has really toothpicky legs. And I'm not his fucking trainer. I don't know. I don't think there's much that can be done about these. I think that's just the way that
Skipping
he is.
leg day a lot.
Maybe, but he just has narrow legs. Maybe it can be fixed, but let's just say he's tried that, and this is just the way his body develops. I could imagine a guy like that going, fuck it, that's the one bit I can't develop. I look stupid, give me some calf implants. But for the most part, what I think about is that guy who I feel like is low-key famous that was on an MTV reality show in like the 90s, who went and got the calf implants, that he was finally going to be happy once he got these things, and he gets it and he looks in the mirror and he like flexes a little bit and goes like, yeah, and a little bit of blood just dribbles down it. And I feel like this people know what I'm talking about right now. It was like, right, that's who gets calf implants. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Well, if he's incredibly happy because he has really solid calves, that's your prerogative.
I agree. And same thing with women who get, it works both ways. If there are women who get work, and I think that they are trying to address some need on the inside that they're never going to fix with that shit, and they're the people who tend to go overboard. But I think there's also ladies who get shit that we don't even know they got it, and they look in the mirror and they go, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Madonna might well feel that way.
Yeah. If I had millions of dollars, I would do some stuff. Like, I wouldn't get pecs or anything, but I don't know. If they had some, like, I'm going to go to BioAccelerator and get stem cells injected into my face. I don't know how much that does, but I'm just saying I would do it. That's free.
Yeah.
To get like giant face muscles?
I don't know how, well, it doesn't numb anything. It just like refreshes. That's what stem cells do. But I don't know. I know when you put it in your injured knee, it makes your knee feel better. I don't know if it does anything to your face. But like I said, if I had all the money where it wasn't a problem to even ask how much that procedure is, and they were like, yeah, we do this, and it does, and I'm like, yeah, sure, fucking throw it on there. So I feel like when you have butt implants and all that stuff, you gotta have a lot of money. Or I guess there's people out there that only do that. They spend all their money on the plastic surgery, but I mean, money is bullshit. I mean, obviously you have to play the game, or you're living in the streets, and that's not the greatest life ever. But if you want to spend your money on getting big fat lips and that makes you happy, like, what's better? Oh, I've got a fucking stamp book collection, or I fucking invest. Like, okay, invest in houses. Great, you're making more money. You're a money guy. You got tons of money. Great, you're into that. But what if you're not? What if you're just like you've got your job and you can get your car and it's not that fancy and your apartment's not that fancy, but every 6 months you get fucking caked up with a bunch of shit that makes you look awesome. I have a trans friend that I only just kind of started talking to her again, but she is a person that has constant updates. Bigger boobs, bigger ass, bigger boobs, bigger ass, thin this, do that. So I can tell it's never going to stop. She's nowhere near stopping. I don't know what that ends up making her look like, but it's an addiction, and I don't know what it is with her, but every time I've ever spoken to her, she's getting her boobs bigger. And I'm like, how does that work? Like, what do you...
Sounds exhausting too, and that's a lot of surgery to recover from.
I think maybe if you get big boobs, it stretches it out enough for you later on to get even bigger ones, and that's what's going on?
Maybe. But what Kevin said, I think about that too. It's like, as they say, there's no such thing as minor surgery. I got a vasectomy. It's like a tiny little snip and something that's hanging out of my body. And it's still a couple of days that I'm not anxious to relive.
Right. Well, that's sort of
What about when Tara Reid got that boob job? You think the recovery on that wasn't unpleasant?
Yeah. Well, I've seen people with boob jobs. They are in a lot of pain the next day. It's up there with any other surgery. Like, they're as sore as any other surgery you can get.
Yeah. Right. It's cool. I think you would find that a lot of people who get really addicted to not just show me somebody who has way too much plastic surgery. I'll probably show you somebody who has a very expensive car, a lot of conspicuous consumption. You're talking about the guy that you saw on that app and he's showing off this bag and that bag. I think you'd be surprised how many of those people can't really afford that shit. That's the crazy thing. If you can afford it, it's a different story. That's your life. But if you're gonna, if you're 50 and you look like you're 30, but you don't have any money in the bank, and at some point you're going to want to stop working, that fucking butt chin is only going to keep you so warm when you're fucking 65 and broke.
If I was super rich, I would have like diamond teeth.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just golden diamonds in my mouth. Every tooth, instead of just I don't know how many I've got, but first all gold. But if I had loads of money, I would add diamonds to it. Maybe not diamonds, maybe rubies, because I don't like diamonds as much anymore. Rubies is where it's at.
Yeah, diamonds are weird.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing with that. But then again, smartphones, fucking chocolate. I don't eat chocolate anymore. But I did. That's the other thing. Fucking plant-based. When you get the munchies and all the things that you want to do that make you feel bad the next day, that's not an option anymore. But there's like oat ice creams and fucking there's all these things they make where it tastes like it, but it's not it. And maybe it is a little bit different and not as good as like the most expensive chocolate candy fucking ice cream you can get that's got all the dairy in it. But what you feel like the next day, that alone. I'm getting this is I can't I'm like so excited about fighting Lewis in the spring because I'm already fitter than I'm already losing tons of weight. I already feel like I'm faster and I have like 6 months to go. And I don't feel like I'm gonna stop. Like I feel like I can just keep doing what I'm doing. But I can also tell the age thing, it is done. Like I'm extra exhausted in ways where I'm lucky that we do this 2 days a week. If it was 5 days a week, it would be really hard because there's a couple of days where I train, or if I skate with Tony and train, the next day it's hard for me to talk to people. Like if someone asks me a question, I'm like, yeah, it's good. Because I don't want to be like, yeah, because the other day I did this and I did that because I don't feel like I have the energy to tell you a story. And I'm like, man, that's my job is to tell stories. And I feel like I train so hard that I don't feel like doing anything. Just like on the couch every now and then I'm like, I've got to sit up and get drinks because I'm dehydrated because that's the other thing. I sweat so crazy. I got in trouble last night I rinsed my t-shirt out in the gym. I didn't get in trouble, but they were like, oh, shit, maybe don't do that on the mats. Because when I squeezed it, it was, next time I do it, I'm going to bring like a glass or a bucket because I want to see how much I can get out of my t-shirt and out of my sweatband. But I would like to, I feel like I sweat 2 liters in an hour and a half. I know. I just saw your face. You're like, no, you didn't. But I when I wring this shirt out, it for sure filled the glass. For sure. Maybe 2. So 2 glasses.
Yeah. So a 2 liter is like a conventional
I'm doing Australian
bottle of Coke. No. That's the one weird exception that we have to not doing metric in America.
You will do liters.
Yeah, like when you get a bottle of soda from the store, like to share with people, that's a 2 liter bottle of soda.
Okay, yeah. So that I feel like the mats, the ground, and how maybe at least a liter.
Yeah.
At least a liter.
I'll buy that.
And I wonder how that. Yeah, but my friends keep saying someone told me yesterday that you can take a pill that makes you sweat more because people want to sweat more. Did you know that?
That's weird because I'm kind of a sweaty guy and I would like to sweat less.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like
when I was younger, something changed in my body when I moved to Los Angeles. I think because it's not as humid as the East Coast, but I had heard somewhere along the way that there were surgeries you could get for that, and I thought, right, I don't have money for that, but note to self, if you can, that's how bad I was, and I've given it to my son. My son's a very sweaty lad.
Look, the only. Like yesterday I was doing burpees and there's 40 of us and I can tell on the mat that I'm starting to form a puddle.
Yeah.
And
nobody else.
The other 40 people around me haven't started to make a puddle. And I'm like, man, but I also feel like I'm 20 years older than everybody in there I'm guaranteed. Like they're okay, maybe 15, but they're all, 22-year-olds.
You feel like it's a function of age? Do you feel like you're getting sweatier?
The heart pills, something's happening.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm old and for me to do the workout that the 24-year-olds are doing is just way harder and I have to put in way more effort to just get through it and their youth is like, what is the big deal? Or these heart pills are making every exercise thing way more difficult.
Chet?
Might be a bit of both. Yeah, I'm going to get checked out. Might get a different kind of heart pill, but I'm worried about taking a different kind of heart pill and having a different result with my heart, and it gets bigger again, and then I'll have to have a fucking heart replacement. Fuck that.
Yeah, I hear that. If it ain't totally broke.
Yeah, and I just feel like if anybody can take it, I can take it. Yeah, if you feel super tired from doing a bunch of stuff, I can get up. Yeah, I almost feel like when I don't have a day to do stuff and I wake up, I'm like, oh man, I don't think I can do it today because I know I don't have to do it today. I went to bed at like 3 last night.
Yeah.
I woke up and I would, maybe if we weren't doing a show and a Patreon show, I'd be like, oh man, I just can't do it today. But I woke up knowing that I got to do something. So it's like it's a booster shot because it's like, what are you going to do? Not do it? Get the fuck out of here. Of course you're going to do it. Let's get up and go. And I feel like you trick your body into, not being tired. And then later on, that's I think this is the big key. And thanks to not working on the radio anymore, I can.
Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Losing job.
What a blessing that was. Still like just rejoicing constantly. I can switch off now. Like, I just don't think I could with the 5-day-a-week people that I don't like thing was always in my head. Now I don't have no beef with anybody. Everything's pretty cool. So on Thursday, if Tony doesn't want to do the show, I can like take a nap. Like, even if it's not fully asleep, I can do 30 minutes where I go, put the phone down and just fucking relax a little bit. And I feel like that gives me a bunch of energy. And I never, a couple times I did it. I remember at one point I was trying to do transcendental meditation. So I would try and do it after the show. I don't know how long that lasts, like fucking 6 months or something. But it really is you don't have to do meditate. You just have to not worry or think about your plans for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Almost go to sleep. But if you don't go to sleep, it still helps.
If you just make your eye muscles relax.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what it is. You think you're relaxed and then you tell yourself to relax and you're like, yeah, what? I'm fine. And then you go, okay, so unwrinkle your forehead. And you go, oh.
Yeah.
I guess I was carrying some shit around.
Right.
I will say though that I think a difference I'm not an athlete, but a difference between being young and being older is I think when you're younger, a lot of times you wake up and your body's just like, no, I really need a day off. It's like, fuck you, power through. Pain is weakness leaving the body. I think when you get old, and there's limits to that. I know there was a big thing in Japan where like baseball pitchers, baseball's huge in Japan, guys were blowing out their arms because they refused, this is like in the 80s, refused to subscribe to the idea that your arm needs rest.
Yeah.
So it was like, no, just you're weak. That's why you have arm troubles. I'm not even making this up. Go stand underneath this frozen sacred waterfall and then come back and fucking throw another 120 pitches, you pussy. So there's limits at any age, but I do think that when you're younger, you get better, you get tougher by powering through when your body tells you to stop. I think you pass a threshold where stopping is necessary sometimes, or else you can power through for a day or two, but you're going to pay the price.
But it's really difficult when you're a person that's already pushed it. Like if I spent my whole life where I should quit, and I don't quit, and then I end up making it. That's kind of like what skateboarding is a lot. When you get to the highest level, you're just nowhere near it for the longest time, and then you get it. And the only way you get it is by staying and being super sore and going, nope, still going to keep going. So then when you get used to that and how that pays off, and then you get older and like you said, you should rest, it's hard to convince myself to not go. Like I feel like now that I'm this old, yeah, I'll do it. But I'll even still feel like if coach DMs me and goes, hey, you coming in this week? Because I haven't come in. It's Wednesday and I've missed 2 days. And I'm like, whoa, I'm really fucking sore from skateboarding on Saturday. And yeah, it's Wednesday. But I can tell my body is like, dude, if you go to Saxon's and a bunch of people kick the shit out of you right now, you're not gonna like want to do the rest of your week. So I at this point I'll assess.
Yep.
I'll go a couple times I feel shit and I'm like, get in the sauna, go in the cold plunge. If that doesn't work, then you know you're not going to go to the gym tonight. That's kind of how I do it.
Right. Well,
if I get in the cold plunge and I come out and I'm like, yep, I know who I am. I can move it. All right, I'll do it. But I'm a lot more sensible. But I will admit that when people ask me, "Are you coming?" I feel like I've let them down. That I'm inferior. That this is the thing that makes the difference between the tough and the not so resilient, and you fuck with yourself about it. But I also the other voice is like, dude, really? Like, do another hour and a half of people kicking you. Do you think that tomorrow will be worth it? And if the answer is no, I won't go.
Well, Lewis is in the gym every day, and I don't know if you heard his most recent podcast. He's got bad intentions for you sexually, and I don't think he's joking.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about going to Skankfest. Like, am I going to get hit over the back of the head with a chair and Anthony Cooney is going to rape me? Like, what's going to go on here? Someone's going to put a pistol in my mouth and tell me to say stuff that I don't want to say.
Right.
These guys are scary.
Are they going to send you to the gay conversion tent?
There was 4 of them, Michael, in the room when they banged me. Yeah, and I was like, oh, mate, please stop. At one point, I think I said. And he whispered in my ear.
Yeah.
Do you know how fucked up that is? He whispered in my ear while he was boning me.
We did a similar bit on the radio show not that long ago at the Middle Studio where we all wrote sexual scenarios and then we pulled names out of a hat.
Yeah, it's almost like they copied us.
And I think I wrote a fairly compelling suggestion of what it might look like if Kevin forcibly took advantage of you.
Oh, yeah?
Although I believe in ours. You said you didn't like it, but you weren't into it.
No, you got me. You got me again, Michael. That's just what I want is Kevin to fuck me.
Well, this is as good a time as any to remind everybody that we do this podcast for around about 1 hour per week, but we do 4 hours bare minimum, the 3 of us, in addition to your solo Awesome World podcast.
Sometimes I see things on the wall and trip out. What a show that is.
Watch him watching the walls, ladies and gentlemen. Patreon.com/Ellis, mate. Love to see you there.
I'm told it's very entertaining. No one said, hey, man, the whole mushroom thing, that wasn't cool.
No.
Everybody is like,
do speed next.
Yeah. Tune in next week. That sounds terrible. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Likes and subscribings and stuff and you know, season's greetings. What does that mean?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's not it yet. Don't die.
If you want more Jason Ellis Show, sign up for their Patreon at patreon.com/EllisMate for a 2-hour show every Tuesday and Wednesday. To watch full episodes of The Jason Ellis Show, subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/The Jason Ellis Show. And don't forget to follow the crew on Instagram at Wolfmate, at Tullywood, at Kevin Kraft, at Underwearwolf, and at The Jason Ellis Show.
Big fat boy.